Hello and happy fall, because it's kind of nice out here, although there are still mosquitoes. So it's getting fall-like weather in that it's, 70 degrees, but the mosquitoes haven't gotten the word yet that they're supposed to leave. So I'm a little disappointed about that, but I sprayed off on me, so, I'm good for right now. Once again, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. And for your ongoing, comments and engagement. Always appreciated. Today, I don't have any show and tell. Sorry. I used it all. I used it all up last week. But if I come across something else that's cool, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But today, we're continuing in Moses' journey and his engagement with his people. And here we are, still in Exodus 33, and this is just the next one. Last week we did 1 to 11, and now we're doing 12 to 23, and I'll be reading part of Psalm 96 as well. So if you need to, pause the video and go get your Bible, that's cool. I'm reading, by the way, from the Contemporary English Version. So there it is. 33, starting with verse 12. Moses said to the Lord, I know you have told me to lead these people to the land you promised them, but you have not told me who my assistant will be. You have said that you are my friend and that you are pleased with me. If this is true, please let me know what your plans are. Then I can obey and continue to please you. And don't forget that you have chosen this nation to be your own. The Lord said, I will go with you and give you peace. Then Moses replied, if you aren't going with us, please don't make us leave this place. But if you do go with us, everyone will know that you are pleased with your people and with me. That way, we will be different from the rest of the people on earth. So the Lord told him, I will do what you have asked because I am your friend and I am pleased with you. Then Moses said, I pray that you will let me see you in all your glory. And the Lord answered, all right, I am the Lord, and I show mercy and kindness to anyone I choose. I will let you see my glory and hear my holy name, but I won't let you see my face, because anyone who sees my face will die. There is a rock not far from me. Stand beside it. Before I pass by in all of my shining glory, I will put you in a large crack in the rock. He hideth my soul in the cleft of the rock that shadows a dry, thirsty land. I will cover your eyes with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back, but you will not see my face. And Psalm 96. Sing a new song to the Lord. Everyone on this earth sing praises to the Lord. Sing and praise his name. Day after day announce, the Lord has saved us. Tell every nation on earth, the Lord is wonderful and does marvelous things. The Lord is great and deserves our greatest praise. He is the only God worthy of our worship. Other nations worship idols. The Lord created the heavens. Give honor and praise to the Lord, whose power and beauty fill his holy temple. Tell everyone of every nation, praise the glorious power of the Lord. He is wonderful. Praise him and bring him an offering into his temple. Everyone on earth now tremble and worship the Lord, majestic and holy. So this is the scene which they didn't show in the Ten Commandments, the movie with Charlton Heston. They showed him coming down from the mountain, changed, and he had the white hair, and it was all, oh look, and they were all. Now, in the Bible, when he comes down, you'll see that his face is actually shining. It looked like, they didn't even know what to make of it. And they sort of modified that for the movie. But, and they showed, of course, God making the tablets, but I guess they had a hard time figuring out how we're gonna show God walking by and then covering Moses' face as he passes by. I'm going to cover your eyes, and God does that himself. He doesn't say, Moses, I'll let you do that. Just cover your eyes because it'll be bad for you if you see my face. It'll be too much for you. God does it himself. God takes the responsibility for Moses' safety upon himself at that moment. Takes responsibility for Moses' safety right then, when he agrees that you'll be able to see the glory of my being as I pass by, which means God manifested God's self in a way that was directly perceivable by Moses, but only in periphery, so to speak, from the side view. But it always amazed me that God makes the promise, I'm going to be with you the whole way there, and he is. In response to Moses saying, listen, I don't want to go if you're not going to be there with us. I don't want to be a part of it. It's too big, it's a, I can't see this working out if your presence isn't with us the whole way. And God said, that's cool. I'll be there all the way to the promised land. And then, we'll work things out. So God's taking responsibility to be with the children of Israel the whole way, and he takes responsibility at that moment for Moses' safety as he passes by. But what struck me about that whole encounter was that Moses had, is one of the few people that had this direct encounter with God face to face. Well, not face to face, face to back. Face to back. That, and he was able to live and tell the tale, and to bring back to the people a vital enough sense that of who God was, that they, even though they diddled around and ended up being 40 years before they got to the promised land, the story enough to know that even though Moses has seen God in person in this way, that it's still not a smooth sail for the people of Israel. They still have a problem in that they keep wanting to be drawn back to the prior times, and they have a hard time dealing with the fact that they can't. And yet, finally, skipping forward to the psalm, you see that they recognize God's lordship over them, and the fact that they remained his people as he asked, even all the stuff that happened to them. They remained his people because they centered themselves on his word. Through many a slip, through many a problem, all the difficulties they had, they still were able to be God's people and to be upheld by him in that way. The corollary to that is when they say in the psalm, tell all the nations about him. That they were his, the children of Israel were his special people, but that didn't mean that God wasn't God over the whole universe. So God's particular people, chosen by God, loved by God, led personally by God, did not have a monopoly on God. They were a special people, but it was their responsibility to be vessels of carrying God's truth into the world. And does that sound familiar? I mean, that's our job, right? Is to make disciples, but we're making disciples as being, grafted on to God's people. But that God is God of the entire universe. And if people don't know that, if people are living in unawareness of that reality, whose job is it but God's special people to let everybody know about that? To be in right relation to God, yes, but also the universe. Part of our deal when we talk about deviating from the general direction of the world is that the world, having fallen and being sinful, doesn't know anymore who God is, doesn't know what direction to go in to follow the Creator, the King of everything that exists. So from that standpoint, the tide of the world is going in this way, and it's our job not only to deviate from that, to go the other way, but to do it purposefully so that everybody can know who God is, so that they can be in tune with it, with God, with what God is doing. That's the deal with the kingdom, is that we're to be people who are singing God's song, that are on the same page that God is, so that remember the hymn, "This is my Father's world, and round me rings the music of the spheres." I always wondered what spheres made music, because I thought that was pretty cool, and then my Sunday school teacher pointed out that it was spheres, and that the hymn writer knew that it was that all of the worlds that God had created were indeed spheres. But the hymn writer knew, and expressed poetically, that music is something that, just like in the psalm the other week, that the music that the angels sing is something that we participate in as children of God, that we learn the tune, the greater we are in concert with what God is doing. And in a sense, that's our job, is to learn the tune more perfectly, so that we sing in harmony with God's music, metaphorically speaking. And in doing that, we help others along too, so that they can sing the song as well. They can join in the chorus too, and be part of what God's all about. So that Moses recognized that his encounter with God directly was cool and unique, but it wasn't something that was supposed to be an end in itself. Moses encountered God so that he could be better equipped to be the leader of God's people in bringing them to the promised land, and to continue God's work in the world. And in that same sense, that's our job, is to encounter God, because it's cool to be in concert with what God's doing. But more importantly, it's so that we can be ones who lead the rest of creation to where they need to be, because they're tone deaf. they don't know God's tune, and we do. Sometimes we sing it beautifully, sometimes we're not quite there. But the important part is that as we learn better and better to be transmitters of what God's all about in the world, you and I are better able to help others toward a better understanding of who God is, and how they can be a part of creation as well, how they can be a part of God's kingdom, and in that way continue God's work and be a part, of what He's all about. So that's pretty cool that you and I can do that. And that's not my dog. That's the neighbor's dog, who sounds exactly like my dog. So if you happen to be driving by and you hear a yappy dog, there's a 50% chance it's my dog, Sassy. But there's also a chance that it's their dog, whose name I've forgotten, but he's a dachshund, about that big. And when they're both here, then it's just double the yappiness. And that got me off task. But the psalmist was right in wanting us to recognize that we need to lift our eyes beyond our own circle because of who God is. And we recognize our part in creation, and when we do that, we're better able to be that active part of God's kingdom, so that we can experience the coolness ourselves and help others, so that it both works out. So there it is. It's a little quicker today because I didn't have the show and tell. But thank you guys, as always, for your continued engagement. Love you guys, and I look forward to being with you all soon. I keep saying that. Someday it'll really happen. Just not now. So there it is. Also on an up note, my mother-in-law, Doris, made it, and she's settling in. Her stuff made it the other day, and it's in storage now, waiting to figure out what we can do with it all. So so far, stage 1 of her moving down has worked out well. Thank you guys for your prayers and concerns, and that's pretty cool. So there that is. Other than that, love you guys, and we'll talk to you later.